This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on January the 6th, 2012. Our time is 8:42 Mountain, 10:42 Eastern. The radio show runs on AM 640 in Toronto, 630 CHED in Edmonton. Should mention, for everyone who listens to our show in Edmonton next week, we will be on a half an hour later at 3:30 due to hockey. So keep that in mind. Next week our show is on at 3:30 in Edmonton. Should remind you as well, if you ever miss a radio show, you can catch us online archived at HESradio.com. Also, Harold's website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, HESradio.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and you can go back and listen to past shows. This is really technically the first show of the year for 2012, and it's our annual prediction show where Harold Siegel, he dips into his magic bag and pulls out his amazing crystal ball that has worked so well over the last 10 years, and he gives us his predictions. Harold, looking forward to your thoughts for the year 2012.
Well, thank you very much, Randy. I want to wish everybody a very, very happy New Year. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season and a great New Year. And this year, I'm predicting a very confusing and dangerous year. So, again, it's extremely important that we're all on the same page and we understand what's going on and what the potential is on the upside and what the potential is on the downside. And, again, things seem to be coming to a head at this point here because a lot of things will happen in 2012 that will really pave the way as to what's going to happen going forward. So as we're taping the show, by the way, on Friday, the job numbers came out. They were mixed, nothing great. Gold is down $870. It's trading still above $1,600 at $1,613. Silver's trading right at around $29. Platinum's at $1,406. The palladium market's at $630. You've got the oil market trading right at 101 to 102. Oil market's been very, very strong. You know, we're very bullish on oil. And the problem is the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar is up to 81.25, which is a bit of a danger area for me. So it's up 36 points. It's at 81.25. And again, gold, silver, the dollar, oil, stocks, they all are interrelated. And again, with the dollar rallying, that's why you're seeing the gold and silver markets down at this particular point. So, going forward, again, we're in desperate times. And this is also an election year in the United States, so you've also got to realize that a lot of things that are going to come out this year, it's because it's an election year, and they're going to try to make things look an awful lot better than what they are. Obviously, Obama wants to get reelected. You've got the Republicans fighting to see who's going to run up against them. My feeling is that Obama has an awful lot of money backing him. I heard close to $1 billion. So basically, no matter how poor of a job he's done, with the job numbers looking slightly better and people a little bit more optimistic, it would not shock me to see him get reelected again. So there's a very good chance that that's going to happen, and that would be problematic because, again, he has done a horrible job, and the fact is that I just don't think he's the right man for the job. But realistically, I don't think there's anybody out there that could get us out of the trouble that the world is in right now. So here's what the major problems are. Before we get into the actual predictions, here's what the problems are, and this is what we're facing in 2012 and going forward. There's trouble everywhere. Things are not getting better. Things are getting worse. So everywhere you turn, you've got problems. You've got China, which could literally implode. If you think the real estate market in the United States was bad, just look at what's really happening in China. And because China is obviously a communist country and it's difficult to get information out of China, I do have friends that work in China and do business in China, and they say things are not very good there at all. In fact, how could they be? The world's basically in a recession, and basically China is not exporting anywhere near what they need to. Their cities are in big trouble, their real estate market's in huge trouble, and they've got almost 10% inflation. So China could actually turn out to be one of the biggest problems in 2012. And literally, it could implode. You've got the United States. We talk about that every year. I mean every week. The United States is just basically bankrupt. They owe $15 trillion, more than $15 trillion, and they've got a weak economy. And the fact is that they're printing money like it's going out of style. Those are inflationary situations. Tremendous inflation is what we are predicting going into the latter part of 2012. So you got China that could implode. You've got the United States, faced with the same problems, employment problems, debt problems. And the fact is that it's just not going to get any better over the short term. You've also got Europe with the sovereign debt situation. The European situation is dire. You've got several countries that are on the verge of bankruptcy. And again, I just don't believe there's enough money in the world at this point to bail out Europe and the United States. So again, the only solution is to print and print and print to solve the short-term problems of meeting your debts. And when you're printing that type of money, there's just no doubt that we're going to have inflation going down the road. Are we going to see it, in the first quarter? I highly doubt it. I think the first quarter of this year is going to be extremely volatile. And then you've got the Middle East. Probably one of the most frightening situations that we're facing is what's happening in the Middle East. They've let this go too long, and they've allowed Iran to almost complete their nuclear plants and that type of thing, and they evidently are very close to producing a nuclear bomb. So we've got a major situation in the Middle East, and something has got to be done there. And they know that the tensions are building in the Middle East because the U.S. has brought sanctions against Iran. And Iran doesn't do very well with threats and sanctions. And basically that's why you're seeing these war games going on in the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is so important because 40% of the oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz to the Persian Gulf. And if you cut off 40% of the world's oil supply, you're talking about oil going to $250 to $300. And that's a very real situation that could wreak havoc on the world financial markets. So those are the major trouble areas: China, the U.S., Europe, and the Middle East. And again, what we see happening is that for the first quarter of 2012, we see tremendous volatility. We see tremendous volatility, and a lot of it is going to continue to be in the currency markets. Now, because the situation in Europe seems to be more severe than the situation in the U.S. at this particular point, the euro is still dropping. The euro's at 126 at this point, and my fear is that the euro could drop all the way down to par with the U.S. dollar. So if that was to happen over the short term, which is what we've predicted, unfortunately over the last few months, the fact is that if the dollar does strengthen to the 85 to 86 cent level in that area, that could push the metals a little bit lower. Again, I think that we're at the lower end of where the metals should be at this particular point, but there is the potential, as we talked about the last couple of weeks, of gold possibly going to $1,400 and silver possibly going to $25 or $22. That would not negate in any way, shape, or form the bull market in gold and silver, because the fundamentals for gold and silver are probably the strongest that they've ever been. So going forward, I anticipate that the first quarter of 2012 will be extremely volatile, and we could see those lows that I just outlined to you in gold and silver over the first quarter. That could bring gold down to $1,400. That could bring silver down to about $25 to $22. And again, if the market did get down to those levels, which we're not that far away from at this point, would be a tremendous buying opportunity. Because again, as I mentioned before, the fundamentals for the markets are extremely strong. And again, we are predicting much higher prices going into the latter part of this year. So here's what we see. Basically, again, gold could drop to $1,400 just on the strength of the U.S. dollar and the weakness of the euro. However, in the first quarter, by around March of 2012, we think that we're going to see QE3, quantitative easing 3, where the U.S., the Federal Reserve, will put close to $1 trillion back into the U.S. market. And that's when we'll start to see severe moves on the upside in the metals markets and in the inflationary markets, because, again, the U.S. doesn't have $1 trillion sitting there. Again, it'll be printed money, and that still is extremely inflationary, especially when you add what's happening in China, Europe, and the Middle East. So sometime this year, probably around the last quarter of the year, we will see gold, in my opinion, trading between $2,200 and $2,500. Even if gold does drop to $1,400 in that area, I would be a massive buyer at that particular point. And again, I do believe we'll end the year close to $2,200 to $2,500 in gold. Silver market, even if it got down to $25, which it easily could do, it's not that far from there right now, we could see silver double or better this year. We believe that silver is going to outperform gold, and I do believe that silver is going to trade somewhere between $50 and $65 sometime this year. So obviously, we're extremely bullish on gold and silver going forward, but again, I do caution you that the first quarter of this year will be volatile. The oil market, I'm a firm believer that even without Iran, Israel and the United States attacking each other, I still believe that oil is going to get back to about $125 to $150 just based on shortages in the market. Now again, if we do have a recession in Europe and possibly in the U.S., that may cut down on the actual use of oil. However, I'm extremely bullish on oil, and again, I would give it a 75% chance that we are going to see a war between Iran, Israel, the United States, and it could get even bigger than that because, again, you've got China and Russia that are sort of siding with Iran at this time. So, again, I think that oil is going to trade between the $150 and $250 level, and that is the most inflationary situation that we're looking at this particular point. Now, $150 to $250 oil is extreme, but oil is trading as we are taping the show at $101 right now. So again, it's not as extreme as we think it is. And again, the higher numbers of $2 to $250 and possibly even higher than that would come if they do cut off the Strait of Hormuz and no oil gets through and Israel and U.S. attack Iran. Now again, this is a severe situation. I don't think that Iran is a country that you necessarily want to mess around with. They got a fantastic army, and again, you know what happens in the Middle East. Nobody wins in Afghanistan. Nothing was accomplished in Iraq, and by attacking Iran, all it's going to do is raise the price of oil tremendously. So the fact is that they have to be very, very careful about that. And I know what they're trying to do at this particular point, especially, what President Obama is trying to do, is trying to figure out a way that they could attack Iran and not have the price of oil go up. And I just don't see any way in the world that that's possible without, fooling around with the markets like they did back in 2008. So again, extremely bullish on gold, $2,200 to $2,500 this year. Extremely bullish on silver, $50 to $65. But again, don't forget that those markets could fall before they go up, so make certain that, again, you own these markets outright. Oil I'm extremely bullish on. Again, the low that I see happening in oil is $85, but again, we've seen that, and I think that we're on our way to $150 and possibly $250 oil. The difficult market to predict is the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar is one of the weakest currencies in the world, but it's gaining strength because of the weakness of the euro. If the euro goes to par with the U.S. dollar, that again, and that could happen over the shorter term, that's why we are saying that the markets could fall before they go higher. So again, if the euro does go to par with the U.S. dollar, that would bring down the metals over the short term. However, I do believe that the euro is a currency that's in tremendous trouble, and again, will not be here within the next year to 2 years. We have seen the metals rally before on a strong U.S. dollar. Back in 79 and 80, don't forget, gold went to 850 when interest rates went to 20 to 22%. So you can literally see a separation of gold and silver from the U.S. dollar when the situation is right. But over the short term, we do anticipate that the euro will continue to fall. The U.S. dollar could get back up to 85 to 86 cents, which could bring gold and silver to the levels that I just mentioned to you. Now, if there is a war or the fighting starts with Iran, then all bets are off. Because what you will see is gold, silver, and oil take off and skyrocket. You could see gold go up $100, $200 in a night, and you could see silver go up $2 to $3 in a night. You could see oil go up $100 in the night. So what is going to happen is that you don't want to be out of the metals markets. If you own paid-for physical metal, these pullbacks in the market are only buying opportunities. It's only if you're heavily leveraged in the futures markets and that type of thing that you're going to have issues with leverage. But the fact is that you should own these markets outright, and the fact is that then you have no risk in the market. And these pullbacks in the market only become buying opportunities, and your stress level is way less. I think that as soon as we start to see any problems with Iran, you're going to see gold, silver, and oil take off. So you do not want to be on the sidelines in these markets at all. You want to have your positions because it could happen at any time. We could wake up tomorrow and find out that Israel has attacked Iran and they've now cut off the strait, and now oil prices are up $100 overnight and gold's up $200 to $300. You do not want to be out of the markets. You want to be safe and hold gold and silver as a hedge against all these massive problems happening. And that's exactly why we've been buying hard assets over the last several years, is an insurance policy or protection against all the things that are happening at this particular point. The other difficult market to predict is the Dow. I'm very bearish on the stock markets worldwide. Again, I don't see why you would invest in stocks when countries are going bankrupt. But the potential for the Dow to drop back down to 6,500 is real and could very, very easily happen. So again, as we've said for a long time now, the paper asset market is not the place to have your money. The place to have your money at this particular point is in cash, gold, silver, and diamonds. Those are the areas that will get you through these difficult times and actually prosper for you. If you don't have a hedge against inflation, what's going to happen is the price of oil is going to go up, the cost of living is going to go up, the price of food is going to go up, but your income isn't going to go up, and something is going to suffer. And that's the basics of inflation. So, if we are planning and feeling that there is going to be severe inflation coming our way, which I'm saying there's no way in the world that it can't be coming our way, you need to own certain assets that will get you through these difficult times. Again, gold, silver, and oil are three extremely bullish markets, and those are the three major markets this year that we do predict will make massive moves on the upside. So to reiterate, gold could drop in the first quarter. However, you do not want to be out of the market, because as soon as Iran cuts off the Strait of Hormuz, what's going to happen is the U.S. is going to move warships into the Persian Gulf, and then all hell is going to break loose. So again, if that does happen, and we don't know when, but it is going to happen, in my opinion, if you're out of the market, you'll be chasing after the market, and that's the worst thing that you could possibly do. So have your position set. Again, gold could easily hit 22 to 2,500 or higher this year. Silver could actually double and go to 50 to 65. Oil to 150 to 250. The U.S. dollar could go to par with the euro. However, we still do feel that the U.S. dollar is a doomed currency and will continue to fall. And then the Dow could definitely end up the year on severe situations at about 6,500. And that's the way I see things this year so far.
There they are, the predictions for 2012 from Harold Siegel. If you would like to learn more about investing in precious metals, there's one company that would be happy to educate you. That is the company Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in precious metals, worldwide precious metals. Their website is wwpmc.com. The telephone number, 1-866-623-2002. Give them a chance to educate you about the ins and outs of investing in precious metals and starting your own precious metals investment account. Their website, wwpmc.com. The telephone number, 1-866-623-2002. I'm actually coming up doing the show with Harold 10 years in February. And Worldwide has been around the entire time the radio show has been on. And they obviously been through all the ups and downs of these markets. They're the experts in this specific area. Deal with somebody who is an expert in precious metals. They will help you start your own precious metals investment account. They're there to help you manage your precious metals investment account. The telephone number to connect with them, 1-866-623-2002. If you'd like to receive our free weekly newsletter, we send it out via email free of charge every week. You can speak with Worldwide. They would be happy to send it out to you. Harold touched on briefly the job numbers out of the United States. 200,000 jobs were added in the United States, which is really minuscule when you take a look at the fact that you have 20 million people unemployed or underemployed in the United States. Morgan Stanley actually said about 42,000 of those jobs, they were due to a seasonal anomaly. And you can find out more information in our newsletter. Get our newsletter this week from Worldwide. Harold, one other thing I wanted to mention in regard to jobs, just 55% of Americans between the age of 16 and 29 have jobs. And earlier this year, American students, their loaned debt surpassed credit card debt for the very first time. Harold touched on quantitative easing. Morgan Stanley made a very specific quantitative easing 3 prediction. They believe that a package of Treasury and mortgage-backed security purchases of $500 to $750 billion will arrive sometime between March and June of this year. People believe that, obviously, us and somebody like Morgan Stanley, that outfit, believing that it will be coming very, very soon. One of the stories that we touched on, this was a few weeks back, was Dennis Gartman, who is a well-known trader. And he was saying that the bull market in gold was over. Well, he has admitted now that he made a bad call on gold. And we said that weeks ago. Don't listen to Dennis Gartman. He's got a track record of being wrong. And once again, he was wrong. And he is doing the old mea culpa. You can find that story in our newsletter. One of the stories that really did catch my attention, and it was a quote from Morris Hubbard. He said, "Unlimited government requires unlimited funding. The unfunded liabilities of the United States are staggering. Over the next 20 to 25 years, there's probably going to be a gigantic $75 trillion of unfunded liability problems for the United States government. Think of the move in gold against the dollar with a debt of $16 trillion. Can you imagine the action in gold with a debt of 5 times the current size that's there now?" He also goes on to say that he believes we will hit $2,300 sometime in 2012. On the silver side of things, this is a must-read article from James Turk. He compares silver to Apple stock, Apple computer stock. And he actually believes that silver will outdo Apple computer stock. He is very, very bullish on silver, and he believes that we could actually see $70 silver in the year ahead once it breaks out. And he actually continues to go on in this story, and he has a target of $400 an ounce on silver. Stephen Lee believes, and he's a money manager, believes that we will see $5 gas, $60 silver, and $3,000 gold in 2012. And he says silver is even better here. The Chinese have started to stockpile silver, sort of hidden in an announcement they made the other day. They're not going to export any silver. Silver is going to, they actually say China is not going to export, according to their latest announcement, and not even 1 ounce of silver will leave China. So if I were to target silver for the end of the year, he said that he believes conservatively silver could finish the year 2012 $60 silver. If you'd like to learn more about investing in gold, silver, platinum, palladium, speak with Worldwide Precious Metals. Their website, wwpmc.com, wwpmc.com. The telephone number, 1-866-623-2002, and speak with them about getting your name on the list for our free weekly newsletter. It's a must-read again this week. We're going to come back and talk about diamonds and an auction that's coming up as well from hsfineauctions.com as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on January the 6th, 2012. Our time is 9:07 Mountain, 11:07 Eastern. Radio show runs on AM 640 in Toronto, 630 CHED in Edmonton. If you ever miss a radio show, catch us online at HESradio.com or rarecoloreddiamonds.com. One of the things that Harold touched on during his predictions for 2012 was Iran. And in our newsletter this week, it is a must-read newsletter. We have a geopolitical section. We have our charts of the week, quotes and quick hits, information on diamonds, gold, silver, sovereign debt, U.S. debt and deficit, real estate and geopolitical. Iran has made their first nuclear rod. And obviously Iran warned the United States this week about sending an aircraft carrier to the Strait of Hormuz to obviously keep the Strait of Hormuz open. And the United States basically said, we will do whatever we want. We will not stay out of there as you ask. One of the things that the Obama administration has said is they will not allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon or a nuclear program. So something will happen this year. There's no getting around it. The telephone number to invest in precious metals. Have that insurance policy in your portfolio in case of crazy geopolitical trouble this year. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium. Speak with Worldwide Precious Metals. That's the company Harold recommends you use. Give them a chance to earn your business, educate you about these markets, and help you start your own precious metals investment account. Telephone number 1-866-623-2002, 1-866-623-2002. The website is www.pmc.com. And obviously, 2011 was a great year for diamonds. Harold's website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. In 2011, he started a new website, hsfineauctions.com. The next auction is coming up on January 16th. And there is going to be some fantastic items. You can go to HS Fine Auctions and sign up to be a part of that auction January 16th. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain. 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain. Our featured diamond of the week. This week's diamond is a .26 Fancy Intense Pink Emerald Cut VS1. Rarely do you come across a pure intense pig argyle diamond that is an emerald cut and VS1 clarity. Most of the diamonds from argyle are not even graded on clarity, as most are not eye clean, as they say. This diamond would be an excellent investment for any investor collector. You can speak with Harold Siegel about that. You can connect with him at rarecoloreddiamonds.com or 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. If you get our newsletter or go to the website, you can see video of that diamond. And Harold, if somebody was to invest in that diamond, they would have great company because our queen, the Queen of England, Canada's queen, it is her diamond jubilee. And in celebration of that, they're going to be putting on an exhibition of all her jewelry. And she actually, and I did not know this, I may remember hearing about it in the past, she actually has one of the rarest pink diamonds, one of the nicest pink diamonds in the entire world from Cartier. So, yes, even the Queen, Harold, is investing in pink diamonds. Good for her.
You bet. In actual fact, it was a Canadian that actually gave her that pink diamond, so makes it even nicer. You're 100% right. The diamond market is on fire. One of the most important assets and investments that you'll ever make, especially with these difficult and volatile times, is a rare colored diamond. They just do everything that you wanted to do in these uncertain times. They are portable private wealth. They can be sold in other currencies. They never, ever decline in value. In fact, during times of high inflation, they actually do as well as gold and silver does. In 1979 and 80, these diamonds went up 500% in 2 years when we had high inflation. So if you do believe that we are heading into heavy inflationary times, this is an asset that you should definitely own. You know, the thing is that markets go through different cycles. You know, there's times that the stock markets are very strong and you want to invest in those. That's when the economies of the countries are great and their currencies are strong. However, that is not happening at this particular point. So every market has its time. You know, the fact is, back in the 90s, gold was trading back at $250 because there was no inflation. Stock markets around the world were strong, economies were strong, and currencies were strong. So when those type of scenarios are happening, there is no great need for hard assets. But we've got the total opposite now. We've got weak currencies. We've got countries going bankrupt. We've got massive inflation worldwide, and that's going to get stronger and stronger. We talk about insurance policies, owning the right assets that will protect you against the onslaught of what's happening now and what's going to come, which is going to be very, very severe. So this is probably one of the most important years for us to make certain that we have all our ducks in a row, that we have our investments set and ready for what's going to happen. Because, again, as soon as Iran is attacked, watch for oil to go to $250, watch for gold to go up $100, $200, $300, silver could go up $10 or $15. All these situations are going to happen at once. You need to own assets that are going to protect you against high inflation. As we talked about before, if you're making X amount of dollars a year and your income isn't going up, but the cost of living is going up because of oil and food and just the general cost of inflation, you're going to see that your investments and your money is going to deteriorate very, very quickly. We've been doing this show for going on 11 years now, giving you very, very strong advice. This is probably the best advice, financial advice that I could ever give you. Get into the diamond market if you're not in it right now. One of the most important assets you could ever own, and where there are several different colors of diamond. The fact is that there's only two types of diamonds at this point that I'm recommending very highly, and they're both very affordable. We don't have to chase the diamond market. There are certain diamonds that have gone up in price so substantially because of supply and demand and that type of thing, that again, those are not the diamonds that we're recommending. To own red diamonds, red diamonds have gone from, in 1950, being worth under $100,000 to being worth $2.5 million at this point. But again, those are not what we're chasing after. I'm bringing to you the markets that are affordable, that will go up tremendously with inflation, and will basically save your financial life. Let's start off with the yellow flawless diamonds. As of this weekend, you will see, when you go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, you will see a major selection of our new yellow diamonds. Fancy yellows, fancy intenses especially. Those diamonds are in around the $20,000 to $30,000 range. These diamonds go up every single year by at least 25%, and 2012 is no different. We will see at least one increase in the price of our diamonds by at least 25% this year. So if you are going to get into the diamond market, and I do recommend it very, very heavily, you want to buy while the prices are still at last year's prices, because there is no doubt that prices are going to increase substantially. In fact, in 1979 and 80, these diamonds went up every single quarter. We don't want to chase after the markets. We want our clients to make the maximum return on their invested dollar, and now is the time to do this. With yellow flawless diamonds, they go up by at least 25% every single year, and they never, ever decline in value, but they have to be flawless diamonds, and that's all that we carry in the yellow diamonds are flawless yellows. So, a diamond that you can buy today for $20,000, in a year from now will go up 25%. And the next year after that will go up at least another 25%. So even without massive inflation, which we are expecting, these diamonds double every 4 years. If you're not doubling your money every 4 years, which, by the way, is nearly impossible today without taking a major risk, then you're in the wrong markets. And the yellow flawless diamond market is one of the best markets for you to be in. If you're sitting with stocks and mutual funds, again, I gave my predictions this year. I'm predicting that the Dow and the stock markets around the world are going to plummet. We could see the Dow come back down to 6,500, the same price that we saw back in 2008. You don't want to be in those situations because you won't make your money back. The smart thing to do at this point is to own assets that you hold yourself physically, and that's gold, silver, and diamonds. So these yellow flawless diamonds in 1979 and 80, when gold went to $850 and silver went to $52, these diamonds went up 500% in 2 years. That means that a $20,000 diamond was worth a $100,000 diamond, and we think the same thing is about to happen. So you can get involved in this market for around $20,000. Obviously, it's not for everybody. $20,000 is a lot of money. But then again, when you look at where your money is invested, if you're not invested in the right areas, you're going to lose that money. So basically, I would suggest taking your money out of the stock market at this point is the riskiest place to have your money right now. You want to own some gold, you want to own some silver, you definitely want to own some diamonds put away for safety and privacy, and then you want to keep some cash on hand. You want to be out of the assets that are going to hurt you, and the diamond market will only help you. It's one of the most important investments you'll ever make. So we received several of our new yellow flawless diamonds this week. They've just been cut, polished, sent to GIA in New York to be certified and graded, and now they're all showing up on the website. While you can still get them, because they're in very, very strong demand and very few of them exist, you want to own an asset like a yellow flawless diamond to protect you against inflation and just basically to make money, because these diamonds never, ever go down in value. So again, go to our website this weekend, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and do two things. Look at the yellow flawless diamonds and go to the investing in diamonds section. click on the chart and look at what yellow flawless diamonds have done since 1980. In 1980, you could have bought one of these diamonds for $500. Now they're $20,000. In 5 years from now, those same diamonds will be $100,000. So if you don't have any investments put away for retirement and nothing to protect you against inflation, my recommendation is to free up some money and get into the yellow flawless diamond market while you still can. One of the most important investments you'll ever make. Number 2 is the pink diamond market. Randy brought up, that the Queen owns one of the rarest pink diamonds in the world, but the fact is that pink diamonds are all rare. The Argyle pinks are the rarest of all, though. And the Argyle mine that produces most of these diamonds, 95% of them, is going to close within the next 4 to 6 years. If you own one of these pink diamonds, you could literally see the price of these diamonds go up 10 times what the present-day prices are. These diamonds also grow up by at least 25% a year, but we anticipate that they're going to start to move higher than that because of the shortages in the pink diamond market. The mine that produces them, the Argyle mine, has literally come out and said that they cannot keep the mine open that much longer. It's just not profitable anymore, and they plan on closing it before 2018. And when they do close it, there goes 95% of the world's pink diamonds, and the prices will increase substantially. It's just like if we were cutting off 95% of the world's oil supply or 95% of the world's sugar supply, that those prices would go skyrocketing. It's the same thing that's happening with diamonds. Again, every market has its time. Most of my clients that own colored diamonds have them put away for safety, privacy, and for retirement. Because as far as retirement goes, they're one of the best investments that you could ever make because they never decline in value. So basically, if you were to put $20,000 into a diamond today and $20,000 into the stock market today, within 10 years, we know that your yellow flawless diamond is going to be worth about $80,000 to $100,000. We have no idea what your stock positions would be worth. And again, in this day and age, we need to have some security and safety, and has always been the diamond market. The problem with the diamond market in the past has been, how do you resell your diamonds? That's been the old adage. Everybody knows that diamonds always go up in value. A lot of people were not aware how much colored diamonds go up, much, much, much more than white diamonds go up. In fact, 10 times as much. So the fact is that the problem in the past has always been, fine, I own a diamond, how am I going to sell it? Well, we own HS Fine Auctions, stands for H. Siegel Fine Auctions. It's the most premier auction site in the world today. It's the only online, live, real-time auction for high-end collectibles specializing in rare colored diamonds. So basically, when you go to HS Fine Auctions and you go to the website, you're basically just going to see a beautiful website. We only have a few auctions. We've had 2 auctions so far. Both have been extremely successful. The next auction coming up is on January the 16th. It's a Monday evening. On the East Coast, it's going to start at 8 o'clock p.m. In Mountain Time, it's going to start at 6 o'clock p.m., so we can give everybody time to get home, get on their computer, and get ready to have an awful lot of fun. At the last auction, we sold some amazing pieces, and basically we're going to see the exact same thing happening on the 16th. Last auction, we sold a 1 kilo pure silver coin. It was magnificent. It had a diamond in its eye. It weighed over 32 troy ounces. It was absolutely spectacular. The 5-coin platinum set, I doubt that most people have ever seen anything like this. It's pure platinum, 5 coins, sold for around $3,000, was absolutely spectacular. Then we sold a 2.33 oval-shaped emerald ring. We sold a pink sapphire ring. We had a blue sapphire ring up for auction, and then the pièce de résistance, we had 5 Argyle pink diamonds up for sale, and they were absolutely spectacular. And then, for the first time, again, this has only been our second auction, we sold a 1-carat cushion cut, fancy, intense green diamond. It was the highlight of the auction, and we were absolutely ecstatic, and the client that bought it absolutely scored big time because, again, he bought it at a phenomenal price. So this is what we built. We built HS Fine Auctions for our clients to resell their diamonds and high-end collectibles when the time is right to do so. So, again, it's live, it's real-time, and it's one of the most exciting situations that you'll ever be involved in. So what you want to do, starting next week, we will be loading up the catalog, so you'll be able to go to HS Fine Auctions next week. You'll be able to look at the catalog and see what's going to be auctioned. And this time, there's going to be some amazing pieces, including 5 Argyle pink diamonds, but of very rare cuts. There's going to be a round, which is the rarest of all cuts. There's going to be an emerald cut, which is ridiculously rare. There's going to be a princess cut and a radiant cut. There's going to be some amazing diamonds. And as a surprise, there's going to be a large, vivid pink Argyle, and those don't even exist anymore. So you definitely want to go on. You want to go to HS Fine Auctions. You want to click on Getting Started. You want to fill out the information there, and then you will be issued a number. You do not have to bid, but the only way that you can view this auction is by signing in. And if you don't sign in, you will just be looking at the HS Fine Auction screen, and you will not be involved in the action, which is very, very exciting. You'll also be given a number that you can bid with. And basically, it's so exciting. Everybody who's participated has had an amazing time. The sellers have made money. The buyers have bought at phenomenal prices. So everybody is winning in this situation. But again, we are the only company that owns this. I built this 2 years ago, and it has just finished, and we've had 2 small auctions, both extremely successful. Now going into the new year, this is going to be a major business for us and for our clients. And again, I built this strictly for our clients to resell their high-end collectibles. So if you are investing with rare colored diamonds and gold and silver and emeralds and rubies and sapphires with my company, Rare Colored Diamonds or 8 Siegel Fine Auctions, you can use our auction site to sell your goods. If you are dealing with other dealers, and there are a lot of copycats out there, the fact is that we will not sell another dealer's diamond. So if you are dealing with other dealers, be cognizant of the fact and aware of the fact that you may have trouble reselling your collectibles. But if you were a client of ours, we built this for you, and it's for you to use and to make money and to sell your high-end collectibles. And I've never been more proud of anything that we built than what we built this year. HS Fine Auctions is going to help all of our clients resell their high-end collectibles. The fact is that this is going to be one of the most difficult years we've ever seen, but if you're situated correctly in physical gold, physical silver, and physical diamonds, not only will we get through these next few years, we're going to make an awful lot of money. And if I'm right, and interest rates go to 20%, which I believe they will in the next 5 years, imagine selling out of our high-end collectibles and being able to put our money back in the bank at 20%. So again, if you do the right thing, we're going to come through these difficult times and do extremely well. If you stick with your paper assets, you're going to be like 90% of the people out there, and you're going to lose your money over the next year. And that's the last thing in the world we want for our Canadian clients, to be in that situation. So again, we're recommending very, very heavily at this point, before prices go up substantially this year, that you look at yellow flawless diamonds and Argyle pinks. And by the way, the featured diamond this week, that 26-point emerald cut, is a long emerald cut. It's extremely rare. It's a full, fancy, intense pink. It is so beautiful, and it's a VS2. So the fact is that Argyle very seldom grades their diamonds, they grade them only on color. However, when a diamond this exceptional comes onto the market, and again, it's of high clarity value, this is really a spectacular diamond, and 95% of Argyle pink diamonds are under a quarter carat. Again, this is over a quarter carat. It's a spectacular diamond. So again, go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, look at our new yellow diamonds, look at our beautiful Argyle pinks, look at the investing in diamonds section, and check out what these diamonds have done in the past and where they are right now. And this site will also tell you where these diamonds will be priced at 10 years from now. Again, this is one of the most exciting and important assets and investments you will ever make. And again, if you're sick and tired of opening up your statements at the end of the month and seeing your retirement funds dwindle and your stock performance fall, you want to take that money out and put it into an asset that will literally not only make you money, but give you tremendous pride of ownership. Our clients that have taken delivery of our diamonds have absolutely flipped. They're the most beautiful diamonds you'll ever see.
And I had a chance to see one of those diamonds when we had our seminar here in Edmonton. It was on a ring, and wow, spectacular to say the least. So go take a look at HS Fine Auction. Sign up for the auction January 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain. And don't forget, we should remind you quickly, next week's radio show in Edmonton at 3:30. At 3:30. And obviously go to Harold's website and take a look at the featured diamond. It's a .26 Fancy Intense Pink Emerald Cut VS1. Beautiful, beautiful diamond. You can see the video there. Another thing that Harold has done that no one else has done, and that is all the diamonds that he has that are brand new, they are videotaped. And you can see them on his website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Take a look at hsfineauctions.com. Harold made his predictions for the year, and some of the things that I'm personally going to be looking out for is the sovereign debt crisis over in Europe. It will continue on. They have not solved the problem. And I guess the question is, will there be a default in the sovereign debt crisis over in Europe? You have trouble in Greece, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Ireland is still a concern. Will one of those countries default? Will one of them have to leave the euro? And that could be very, very interesting. Also, social unrest in countries all around the world. We saw it on Wall Street in North America. We saw, obviously, problems over in Europe as well. People are not happy about governments and the way they're dealing with things as a result of the debt crisis, financial crisis that the world finds itself in. So keep an eye on social unrest. That could be a big player, and especially with the U.S. elections coming up. If for some reason people feel that somehow Obama is going to lose the election, or even on the Republican side, if their candidate is going to lose the election, it could get very, very interesting. Keep an eye out for that. Also, the United States has a massive amount of debt. We know they're going to be raising the debt ceiling to $16 trillion. A massive amount of money. They're on the hook as well for entitlements. Some people believe the entitlements, they're on the hook for $75 trillion, money they don't have. Other people believe it's $200 trillion. You have a massive, massive debt, and that's not just on a federal level in the United States, but on a state level, also on a city level. You have states that are basically bankrupt. You have cities that are bankrupt. And then on top of it, as we touched on past shows here in the last few weeks, pension plans in the United States are a huge concern. Because you have unfunded pension plans on a state and government level, on a state level, a city level, and people have been promised that money, and the money is not there. And we're starting to see a lot of baby boomers retiring. There have been promises made to them about money that they'll have in the future that is not there. What will happen? We know that the jobs numbers are not good in the United States. The job picture is not good. The housing market is in trouble. And then you take a look at geopolitical. You have North Korea, South Korea. That's a concern. Iraq, that situation, the United States has pulled out. What will happen in Iraq this year? The Iranian situation with their nuclear program. Israel is having trouble with Palestine. So it could be a very, very dicey year. And if you look at all the different landmines that are out there financially for your portfolio, Harold, we have about a minute left here. Now is a time to look at having some gold, silver, diamonds in your portfolio. The only people to deal with worldwide precious metals, 1-866-623-2002 to connect with them, or rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. Worldwide, their website is wwpmc.com, but it's with about 45 seconds left here, it could be a very dicey year.
It is, and again, when times are uncertain, it's time to get conservative. Again, if you're with these uncertain times, if you're sitting and not doing anything, you're basically taking a gigantic risk, and that's the last thing in the world we recommend at this point is taking any type of risk. It's time to be extremely, extremely conservative. So, again, stay tuned to the show. There's a lot of things going to happen in 2012. We've made our predictions. Again, look at our diamonds, and again, diamonds, gold, and silver will get you through these difficult times. There is no doubt that 2012 is going to be one of the most extreme, dangerous, volatile years we've ever seen. I want to wish everybody a very, very happy New Year. We thank you tremendously for listening to our show, and again, we appreciate your loyalty. Again, I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very, very profitable day.
Next week in Edmonton, we'll be on at 3:30. Don't forget to go to hsfineauctions.com. Sign up for the auction January 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And obviously, learn about investing in precious metals. Go to www.pmc.com. Call Worldwide Precious Metals, 1-866-623-2002. Harold's website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Connect with him when it comes to diamonds at 1-800-432-1022. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.